Deep within Indonesia's lush mountains lies a secret so explosive that powerful forces are desperately trying to keep it buried. We're talking about a discovery that could shatter everything you think you know about human history. What if our ancestors weren't primitive cave dwellers scratching out survival during the Ice Age, but master builders who constructed technological marvels that make our modern achievements look amateur? Right here in 2025, whispers are circulating about the Indonesian government preparing to excavate what might be Earth's most ancient pyramid. Not just old. We're talking about a structure that's been hidden beneath jungle growth for a mind-boggling 28,000 years. That's older than anything we've ever imagined possible for human civilization. But here's where things get really interesting. The moment scientists started uncovering evidence of this incredible site, something strange happened. Research papers mysteriously got retracted, excavations were suddenly halted, and the scientific establishment began pushing back hard against findings that challenged their comfortable theories about human development. What are they so afraid of? What could be so threatening about ancient stones that they'd go to such lengths to silence the research? The answers to these questions might fundamentally change how we understand humanity's past, and more importantly, our future potential. The location at the center of this controversy is called Gunung Padang, and from the outside it looks like just another unremarkable hill covered in vegetation in West Java, Indonesia. But underneath that innocent exterior, cutting-edge technology has revealed something that's causing sleepless nights for archaeologists worldwide. This isn't some random archaeological curiosity that will end up gathering dust in a museum basement. This could be the smoking gun that proves everything we've been taught about human civilization is completely wrong. We're not just talking about some old ruins here. If the evidence is correct, this pyramid complex predates Egypt's famous Giza pyramids by more than 20,000 years. Think about that for a moment. While mainstream science tells us our ancestors were barely figuring out how to make fire consistently, someone was apparently designing and constructing massive architectural projects that required advanced engineering, knowledge, sophisticated planning, and organizational skills that supposedly didn't exist for thousands of years. The deeper researchers dig, the more impossible it all becomes. Beneath layers of earth and jungle growth, sophisticated scanning equipment has detected perfectly symmetrical terraces that stretch across an area larger than 15 football fields. These aren't random rock formations created by geological processes over millions of years. These are deliberate, planned structures that show clear signs of human engineering and architectural intent. Even more intriguing are the mysterious underground chambers that scanning technology has revealed deep beneath the surface. These voids appear to be intentionally created spaces, possibly ritual chambers where ancient ceremonies took place, or perhaps something even more extraordinary, energy conduits designed to harness natural forces in ways we're only beginning to understand. The massive basalt columns discovered at the site are arranged with mathematical precision that nature simply doesn't create on its own. When geologists first started analyzing these formations, they expected to find random volcanic activity or natural erosion patterns. Instead, they found geometric arrangements that suggest advanced knowledge of engineering principles, weight, distribution, and structural stability. But perhaps the most mind-bending discovery of all is this. These ancient stones are literally humming. They vibrate at specific frequencies that match ancient musical scales and seem to interact with Earth's magnetic field in ways that scientists are struggling to explain. When researchers first detected these acoustic properties, they thought their equipment was malfunctioning. Multiple tests confirmed that the stones naturally resonate at frequencies that align perfectly with mathematical ratios found in classical music theory. Could our ancestors have understood something about sound and energy that we're only beginning to rediscover? Modern science is just starting to explore how certain frequencies can affect human consciousness, promote healing, and even influence matter at the molecular level. What if ancient builders deliberately chose these materials and arranged them in specific patterns to create a massive resonance chamber that could harness Earth's natural energy fields? The implications go far beyond simple construction techniques. If humans 28,000 years ago possessed knowledge of acoustics, magnetism, and energy manipulation, it suggests a level of scientific understanding that completely contradicts our current timeline of human development. We're talking about people who supposedly hadn't even invented agriculture yet, somehow mastering principles that took us until the modern era to rediscover. This raises uncomfortable questions that mainstream academia isn't prepared to answer. How did Ice Age humans acquire such advanced knowledge? Did they develop it independently through thousands of years of careful observation and experimentation? Or could there be truth to ancient legends that speak of divine teachers, star visitors, or advanced civilizations that shared their wisdom before disappearing from history? The timing is particularly significant because 28,000 years ago, Earth was in the grip of the last ice age. Sea levels were much lower, connecting land masses that are now separated by vast oceans. Entire continents that are now underwater were thriving centers of human activity. If advanced civilizations existed during this period, most of their remains would now be hundreds of feet beneath the ocean surface, explaining why we've found so little evidence of sophisticated ancient cultures. What makes Gunung Padang even more remarkable is that it appears to have been built in multiple phases over thousands of years. This wasn't a single construction project completed in a few decades. This was an ongoing sacred site that successive generations continued to develop and expand, suggesting a continuous cultural tradition that valued knowledge, precision, and long-term planning. The site's location is also strategically significant. Ancient builders chose a hilltop position that would have provided commanding views of the surrounding landscape, making it an ideal location for astronomical observations, navigation, and communication with distant settlements. The elevation also would have protected it from flooding during periods of rapid climate change, ensuring the preservation of whatever knowledge or technology was housed there. As we stand on the brink of potentially revolutionary discoveries, powerful interests seem determined to keep these secrets buried. The question isn't just what lies beneath Gunung Padang, it's why certain people are so desperate to prevent us from finding out. What truths about human potential, ancient wisdom, and our planet's hidden history are they trying to protect? And what might we accomplish if we finally uncover the full scope of what our ancestors achieved during humanity's forgotten golden age? But not everyone is convinced by these extraordinary claims. Doubters continue to argue that what we're seeing at Gunung Padang is nothing more than a natural volcanic formation that later civilizations modified with basic stone arrangements between 2,000 and 5,000 years ago. They dismiss the evidence as wishful thinking by researchers desperate to rewrite history books. However, the artifacts being uncovered tell a completely different story. Excavations have revealed ancient coins that shouldn't exist according to our understanding of when currency was first invented. These metallic objects predate known monetary systems by thousands of years, suggesting trade networks and economic sophistication that mainstream archaeology refuses to acknowledge. Even more intriguing are the cement-like materials discovered throughout the site. Laboratory analysis has revealed complex mixtures containing iron and silica compounds that indicate metallurgical knowledge far beyond what Ice Age humans supposedly possessed. This isn't primitive mud and straw construction. We're looking at engineered building materials that demonstrate advanced chemistry and materials science. Tools found buried in the ancient layers point to extensive oceanic trade, networks spanning incredible distances. These weren't isolated hunter-gatherers scratching out a basic existence. Evidence suggests a maritime civilization that understood navigation, astronomy, and long-distance commerce on a scale that challenges everything we think we know about. Prehistoric societies. The positioning of structures across the site shows deliberate astronomical alignments with star patterns, possibly for navigation purposes, or elaborate ritual ceremonies that took place thousands of years before recorded history even began. Someone with sophisticated knowledge of celestial mechanics designed this complex to interact with cosmic forces in ways we're still trying to comprehend. Now, as Indonesian authorities prepare for renewed excavation efforts, we find ourselves standing at the edge of potentially world-changing discoveries. Will fresh evidence finally vindicate Dr. Natawijaja's controversial theories? Could new digs reveal hidden chambers filled with lost technologies, or detailed star maps that prove ancient civilizations possessed knowledge we thought was impossible for their time? Or will the findings support the skeptics, reducing Gunung Padang to merely an interesting footnote about natural geological processes with some later human modifications? The stakes couldn't be higher for our understanding of human civilization's true timeline. But here's where things get really mysterious. What if the site's strange energies, those humming stones we talked about earlier, are somehow activating in response to current global changes? Climate anomalies, unexplained atmospheric phenomena, and other strange occurrences around the world seem to be intensifying at the same time. Interest in ancient sites like this is reaching fever pitch. Could this timing be more than coincidence? Are hidden forces deliberately orchestrating delays in the research, fearing that humanity isn't ready for the full truth about our past? Maybe they're concerned about revelations involving extraterrestrial influences on ancient civilizations, evidence of nuclear-level conflicts in prehistoric times, or proof of cyclical apocalypses that periodically reset human progress. These unsettling possibilities continue to haunt researchers and truth-seekers, drawing us deeper into mysteries where the boundaries between established history and impossible realities begin to blur, and where answers seem to slip away just as we think we're about to grasp them. Welcome to this fascinating exploration into humanity's hidden past. I'm Mr. H, and you're listening to Mystery History for Sleep, where we uncover the enigmas of forgotten eras to relax your mind while igniting your imagination. If these stories of buried pyramids and concealed civilizations fascinate you as much as they captivate me, consider subscribing to our channel and enabling notifications so you never miss these whispered secrets from the shadows of time. Stay with us as we delve even deeper into Gunung Padang's mysteries, examining the discoveries, the heated debates, and the extraordinary possibilities they represent. Hidden within West Java's misty highlands, where fog clings to ancient vegetation and the atmosphere vibrates with unspoken mysteries, exists a location that has enchanted local communities for countless generations. Gunung Padang, known as the Mountain of Enlightenment, transcends being merely a geographical landmark. It represents a living collection of legends interwoven throughout Sundanese cultural heritage. Stories transmitted through oral traditions that describe divine rulers, miraculous overnight transformations, and deep spiritual connections. 4. The native inhabitants of Karyamukti village. This hill has always been honored as a source of mystical power, a convergence point where physical reality meets the supernatural realm. Ancient stories suggest that within this volcanic landscape, surrounded by towering ferns and mystical atmosphere, King Siliwangi, the legendary semi-historical monarch of the Pajajaran kingdom during the 15th century, attempted an impossible challenge, building a magnificent palace in just one night. According to these captivating tales, Siliwangi, a ruler who represents the intersection of documented history and supernatural legend, called upon otherworldly powers to assist his ambitious project. But when sunrise arrived, the construction remained incomplete, suspended in time as a terraced testament to human ambition and the boundaries of mortal capabilities. Some variations of this legend claim jealous spirits or divine forces prevented completion, leaving behind a complex maze of stone terraces that still echo with the energy of unfulfilled dreams. Other interpretations present it as an intentional act of spiritual wisdom, a pyramid-like structure designed to channel universal energies, perfectly aligned with celestial bodies to bestow knowledge upon those brave enough to climb its sacred slopes. These narratives carry significance beyond simple folklore. They resonate with deeper truths, suggesting forgotten ceremonies and ancestral worship practices that modern society has lost. Village elders describe Gunung Padang as a punden berundak, a sacred stepped terrace central to Sundanese tradition, where ritual offerings appease the spirits dwelling within the land itself. Local beliefs maintain that the stones retain ancient memories, emanating subtle vibrations capable of healing ailments or revealing prophetic visions to those with pure intentions. During peaceful moments, community elders share how the mountain provided sanctuary during catastrophic periods, serving as elevated refuge where survivors of ancient floods gathered for safety. These accounts mirror worldwide deluge legends while remaining rooted in the specific geography of Sundaland, the now submerged landmass that once linked Indonesia to mainland Asia. This connection fuels theories that Gunung Padang's terraces are surviving remnants of a pre-flood sanctuary, constructed by people who understood Earth's natural cycles far more completely than our current civilization. The name Padang typically means field or plain, but in this spiritual context suggests a place of enlightenment where ancient shamans conducted moonlit ceremonies, invoking ancestral spirits to guide and protect the living community. Yet beneath these enchanting legends lies an undercurrent of mystery. Why have such vivid stories endured through centuries, as if protecting profound truths too significant for casual disclosure? It was into this web of indigenous mystery that European explorers eventually intruded, their arrival marking the collision between colonial expansion and native wisdom. During 1914, at the peak of Dutch colonial control over the East Indies, historian and archaeologist N.J. Krom ventured into the dense jungles surrounding the region. Krom, a thorough scholar working with the Dutch Archaeological Service, was attracted by persistent rumors among plantation supervisors and local guides about unusual stone formations hidden on a remote hilltop. The Netherlands East Indies represented a goldmine for European antiquarians who often romanticized the archipelago's ruins as remnants of vanished glory. But Gunung Padang presented something entirely unprecedented. As Krom cut through thick undergrowth, surrounded by oppressive humidity and exotic bird calls, he discovered a series of massive basalt columns and terraced platforms that were overgrown, yet unmistakably human-made. These weren't randomly placed boulders. They formed intentional steps climbing the hillside, flanked by walls suggesting enclosed areas for ceremonies or community gatherings. In his official report, Krom classified the location as a megalithic complex, likely a prehistoric sanctuary, and recommended additional investigation. While acknowledging local reverence and connections to King Siliwangi legends, his documentation carried subtle dismissiveness, treating indigenous traditions as charming decorations on what he assumed was relatively recent construction. What Krom couldn't have realized, or perhaps deliberately ignored, was the site's potential to completely overturn Eurocentric historical perspectives. In an era when colonial powers justified their dominance by characterizing Asian societies as primitive, Acknowledging sophisticated megalithic architecture predating European monuments would have been extremely problematic. Conspiracy theories suggest Dutch authorities intentionally minimized the discovery, burying Krom's findings in administrative archives to prevent empowering Indonesian nationalist movements. Consider this. If Gunung Padang could be proven as an incredible feat of ancient engineering, it would completely destroy the narrative that Western civilizations were humanity's first great achievements. Such evidence might fuel dangerous ideas that Southeast Asian societies actually exceeded European accomplishments thousands of years before the West even existed, potentially igniting independence movements that were already brewing throughout the early 1900s. Krom's urgent requests for a proper scientific expedition were completely ignored by Dutch authorities. The mysterious site gradually disappeared from academic consciousness, its ancient terraces slowly consumed by creeping jungle vines and thick moss, almost as if the mountain itself was determined to keep its secrets buried from prying eyes. For countless decades, it remained dormant and forgotten, known only to devoted locals who maintained their sacred journeys to the site, continuing to place flower offerings and burning incense among the weathered stones. These persistent rituals represented a fascinating blend of Hindu-Buddhist traditions, merged with ancient animist practices that had survived colonial suppression. King Siliwangi's legendary incomplete palace evolved into a powerful symbol of disrupted destiny, a mystical location where time seemed to bend and twist upon itself, carefully protecting ancient mysteries for future generations to eventually discover and decode. The curtain of secrecy lifted again in 1979, but not through official academic research or government initiatives. Instead, pure chance intervened through the mundane activities of ordinary people. 3 local farmers, Endi, S, and Abedin, were working their traditional crops on the hillside when they accidentally discovered exposed stone walls and unusual geometric patterns concealed beneath decades of accumulated soil and overgrown vegetation. What started as just another routine morning in the rice fields suddenly transformed into a moment of extraordinary revelation. These clearly weren't random natural rock formations. They represented remnants of something truly monumental and deliberately constructed. Fascinated by the obvious symmetry and impressive scale of their discovery, the farmers immediately contacted local authorities, setting off a cascade of events that would thrust Gunung Padang back into international attention. Indonesia, having finally achieved independence in 1949 after centuries of colonial domination, was desperately focused on nation-building efforts and eager to reclaim its authentic cultural heritage from the distorted colonial narratives imposed by European powers. The government's Archaeological Bureau quickly dispatched professional teams to thoroughly investigate the rediscovered site, confirming Krom's original 1914 observations while expanding them with modern techniques and fresh perspectives. Extensive excavations revealed more than 400 massive andesite columns, some weighing several hundred kilograms each, meticulously arranged across 5 distinct terraced levels spanning thousands of square meters. The farmers' accidental discovery seemed to perfectly align with the ancient legends they had grown up hearing, almost as if King Siliwangi's restless spirit had somehow guided their hands to finally uncover his hidden legacy. As archaeological teams carefully mapped each terrace level, they uncovered subtle but compelling evidence that dramatically amplified the site's mystique. Structural alignments appeared deliberately oriented towards solstice positions, strongly suggesting sophisticated astronomical knowledge among the builders. Buried ritual offerings echoed spiritual practices that local communities still maintain today, creating an unbroken chain connecting ancient traditions with modern devotion. Local shamans and spiritual leaders interpreted this dramatic rediscovery as a powerful supernatural sign, a direct call from ancestral spirits demanding protection of the sacred mountain from commercial exploitation and destructive development. However, even during this exciting moment of archaeological revelation, disturbing shadows of doubt began creeping into the investigation. Why had such an obviously significant site remained completely overlooked for so many decades? Conspiracy researchers suggest that colonial mapping projects deliberately omitted detailed surveys of indigenous sacred sites as part of a calculated strategy to systematically suppress native cultural pride while facilitating resource extraction, without cultural interference or local resistance. The 1979 archaeological findings, while genuinely exciting for Indonesian heritage, were initially dated to a relatively modest timeframe of 2,500 to 1,500 years before the Common Era. This conservative estimate fit comfortably within accepted historical timelines, but completely failed to capture the far deeper antiquity strongly hinted at by persistent local legends and oral traditions. This cautious academic approach allowed the site to gradually slip back towards scholarly obscurity, its true depths remaining completely unexplored, patiently waiting for bolder researchers to probe much further into its mysteries. What if these early colonial and post-independence encounters were merely preliminary glimpses of far greater revelations waiting to be discovered? The persistent legends describing overnight construction and divine intervention might actually encode ancient memories of incredibly advanced construction techniques lost to modern understanding, perhaps utilizing sound wave manipulation to precisely shape massive stones, or representing communal engineering efforts, spanning multiple generations that later became disguised as miraculous supernatural events in folk memory. As we carefully peel back successive layers of documented history and persistent mythology, Gunung Padang emerges not simply as another ancient physical structure, but as an incredibly complex puzzle box, where each newly discovered terrace unlocks profound questions about humanity's forgotten technological ingenuity and lost capabilities. The farmer's completely accidental discovery in 1979 successfully bridged the persistent gap between ancient folklore and modern archaeological fact, establishing the foundation for heated controversies that would fundamentally challenge our basic understanding of human civilization's true development timeline. Now, dear listeners, I'm genuinely curious. Where exactly are you joining me from tonight? Perhaps you're listening from a peaceful corner, somewhere in London, a vibrant cafe in bustling Jakarta, or maybe a comfortable bed in New York City. And what time is it in your location right now? As you drift into these captivating ancient mysteries alongside me, please share your location in the comments below. Let's discover just how far this fascinating tale travels across our interconnected globe. As we continue ascending the metaphorical slopes of Gunung Padang's deepening enigma, let's completely immerse ourselves in the tangible wonders that truly define this extraordinary site. We're moving beyond distant legends and initial surface glimpses to methodically dissect its complex physical form, layer by layer, examining every mysterious stone. What makes this seemingly innocent hill so profoundly disturbing to our comfortable understanding of prehistoric capabilities is its absolutely defiant architecture. A sprawling complex of precisely engineered terraces, hidden chambers, and deliberate alignments that demonstrate mathematical precision, completely defying the random chaos typically found in natural geological formations. Spanning an estimated 150,000 square meters, significantly larger than many modern sports stadiums, Gunung Padang dramatically unfolds across 5 clearly visible terrace levels, each one representing a distinct plateau of archaeological mystery rising steadily toward the summit. These aren't gentle, naturally formed inclines created by erosion over millennia. They represent deliberate, carefully planned steps, expertly hewn from volcanic andesite and basalt materials, originally forged in the intensely fiery depths of ancient volcanic eruptions. The lowest terrace level alone extends across a vast expanse, dotted with hundreds of precisely positioned column stones, some standing as tall as an average person and weighing up to 300 kilograms each. These massive stones are arranged in complex patterns that strongly suggest ritual enclosures or sophisticated astronomical marker systems designed for purposes we can only begin to imagine. As you move progressively upward through the ascending levels, each terrace becomes systematically narrower, creating an unmistakable stepped pyramid silhouette that eerily echoes distant architectural cousins like Mexico's Teotihuacan or Peru's mysterious Carol complex, yet potentially predating these famous sites by incredible spans of time if the most controversial claims eventually prove accurate. Movement between these impressive levels is facilitated by a truly monumental central staircase. A ceremonial pathway comprising exactly 370 individual steps, carved directly into solid bedrock and flanked by substantial retaining walls that have somehow withstood millennia of devastating tropical rains and powerful seismic tremors. This isn't merely a simple hiking trail created for convenience. It represents a grand processional route designed wide enough for substantial groups to ascend together in organized formation, quite possibly for elaborate ceremonies conducted beneath star-filled skies. Modern local guides consistently describe climbing these ancient steps as an almost meditative ordeal, where the steady rhythm of footfalls seems to synchronize with the mountain's subtle vibrational hum felt directly through the soles of your feet, hinting at much deeper resonant frequencies we'll explore in greater detail soon. But these visible surface features represent just the very beginning of Gunung Padang's mysteries. Advanced geophysical surveys employing cutting-edge ground-penetrating radar and sophisticated electrical resistivity tomography have effectively peeled back Earth's concealing skin to reveal hidden stratified layers, an entire subterranean world that completely transforms Gunung Padang from a simple hill into an incredibly complex labyrinth of engineered chambers. The uppermost construction unit, designated as Unit 1 by researchers, consists of those clearly visible terraces, built using loosely stacked columns and preliminarily dated to approximately 500 to 1500 years before the Common Era, through careful surface erosion analysis and artifact associations found within the immediate vicinity. However, as scientific probes delved progressively deeper beneath the surface, Unit 2 dramatically emerged at depths ranging from 3 to 5 meters underground, revealing a much more compacted layer of rocks and processed soil, showing unmistakable signs of intentional filling and precise structural alignment. Radiocarbon dating of organic materials found within this layer pushed the construction timeline dramatically backward to an astonishing 7,500 to 8,300 years ago. Then comes the absolute heart-stopping discovery of Unit 3, hidden 15 meters. Beneath the surface lies the most shocking discovery of all, a densely packed matrix of shattered basalt and ancient sedimentary layers that have yielded radiocarbon dating results ranging from 25,000 to 28,000 years before present. This isn't some random geological accident or natural formation created by volcanic activity over millions of years. Advanced scanning technology has revealed rectangular cavities within this deep layer, possible chambers or tunnel systems extending horizontally into the hillside interior. The walls of these underground spaces show clear evidence of human modification through deliberate fracturing and precise positioning that nature simply cannot create on its own. Seismic profile analysis indicates these mysterious spaces could extend for dozens of meters in multiple directions, potentially containing undiscovered artifacts from humanity's forgotten golden age, or functioning as sophisticated acoustic amplification systems. This possibility becomes even more intriguing when you consider the site's already documented sound properties and vibrational anomalies. Lurking even deeper still, at depths exceeding 20 meters underground, advanced detection equipment has identified hints of what researchers are calling a fourth construction unit. This consists of fractured bedrock containing anomalous hollow spaces that some interpret as the foundational core of the entire complex, possibly natural geological features that were intelligently co-opted by ancient builders to provide structural stability for their massive construction project. The entire architectural marvel rests strategically positioned atop an extinct volcanic plug, a natural elevated platform that raises it dramatically above the surrounding plains, almost as if the location was deliberately chosen for its commanding panoramic views and exceptional geological resilience against earthquakes and erosion. This sophisticated layered construction technique suggests a massive palimpsest where successive generations continuously added new elements to an original master blueprint, with each historical era imprinting its unique characteristics while carefully honoring and preserving the ancient foundational base built by their predecessors. What continues fueling endless scientific curiosity and heated debate is how these incredible structures fundamentally challenge our comfortable preconceptions about technological development timelines throughout human history. Consider the massive stones themselves, hexagonal basalt columns strongly reminiscent of Ireland's famous Giant's Causeway, but clearly relocated and deliberately reoriented through concentrated human effort and engineering expertise. Successfully transporting these massive stone behemoths up a steep 90-meter incline without modern machinery, wheeled vehicles or domesticated beasts of burden implies incredibly sophisticated logistics systems. We're talking about advanced engineering solutions involving complex ramp systems, precision lever mechanisms, or perhaps something far more mysterious, like the sonic levitation techniques hinted at in ancient mythological traditions from cultures worldwide. Preliminary laboratory analyses of the site's binding matrix have revealed cement-like adhesive materials in the deeper construction layers, a complex mixture of clay, silica, and iron oxides that bonds the massive rocks, together with almost supernatural tenacity. This isn't primitive mud mortar slapped together by cave dwellers. We're looking at a sophisticated geochemical recipe that demonstrates early experimentation with advanced adhesives, potentially predating known metallurgy by thousands of years. If Unit 3's radiocarbon dates prove accurate, this evidence implies a highly organized society existing during the last glacial maximum, when much of the world remained locked under massive ice sheets, somehow possessed the technological capability to quarry, precisely shape, and systematically assemble megalithic structures on an absolutely grand scale. Were these ancient engineers carefully observing celestial cycles and deliberately aligning their terraces to correspond with solstice positions, as later measurements strongly suggest? Or was this massive construction project actually a defensive stronghold against encroaching ocean waters, strategically perched high on Sunderland's remnants as sea levels rose during rapid climate change periods? These absolutely shocking timeline revelations emerge from a symphony of cutting-edge scientific methods, each analytical technique adding another compelling note of intrigue to the overall mystery. Radiocarbon dating performed on organic inclusions, found within the soil matrix, provides the essential backbone of evidence. Samples extracted from Unit 3, including charred plant matter and preserved pollen grains, consistently cluster around the 28,000-year time frame. These results have been independently corroborated by optically stimulated luminescence tests conducted on quartz grains, which precisely measure the last time these materials were exposed to direct sunlight. These aren't isolated anomalous readings that could be dismissed as laboratory contamination. Over a dozen core samples extracted from various locations across the entire site have yielded remarkably similar results, painting a comprehensive picture of phased construction activities spanning from the Paleolithic period all the way through the Neolithic era. Yet these revolutionary dates continue igniting explosive fireworks of academic doubt and institutional resistance. Critics persistently argue that the organic material could be intrusive contamination, possibly washed into deeper layers by later flooding events or carried there by burrowing animals, thereby disassociating it completely from actual human construction activity. However, proponents fire back with compelling geophysical evidence that's much harder to dismiss or explain away. The perfectly symmetrical anomalies detected in radar scans, particularly those rectangular voids we mentioned, absolutely defy natural geological processes. One such chamber detected at 12 meters depth measures roughly 10 by 15 meters, with an outline far too regular and geometric for natural volcanic fissures or random erosion patterns. What might these sealed chambers actually contain? Preserved artifacts from a completely forgotten historical epoch? Skeletal remains of master builders who successfully navigated ice-bound seas during the last glacial maximum? Or, as wilder theories propose, could they house carefully maintained repositories of advanced knowledge? Inscribed stones or sophisticated metallic alloys encoding precise astronomical data that echoes Greece's famous Antikythera mechanism. But vastly older and potentially more complex, this fascinating blend of hard scientific data and speculative wonder draws compelling parallels to other global archaeological puzzles, dramatically heightening Gunung Padang's mysterious allure. Consider Turkey's revolutionary Göbekli Tepe, with its massive T-shaped stone pillars, dating to 11,000 years ago, also featuring multiple layers and astronomical alignments that completely challenge the primitive hunter-gatherer paradigm. Or Japan's controversial Yonaguni underwater stepped formations that some researchers interpret as 20,000-year-old terraced architecture, potentially linked through ancient land bridges that connected now separated continents. Gunung Padang fits perfectly into this emerging global mosaic, strongly suggesting an interconnected network of megalithic innovators operating during the Ice Age, perhaps sharing advanced construction techniques across vast distances via now drowned continental shelves. But why the persistent official secrecy and institutional resistance to accepting these findings? The threads of conspiracy weave throughout the narrative, subtle yet increasingly insistent. Skeptics' swift dismissals, immediately labeling the site as a pseudo-pyramid, reek of institutional inertia, desperately protecting established funding streams tied to conventional historical narratives. Some researchers whisper about much deeper motives behind the academic resistance. If Gunung Padang definitively proves advanced Paleolithic engineering capabilities, it significantly bolsters controversial theories about extraterrestrial guidance, suggesting star visitors once imparted sophisticated knowledge of resonance, technology, and advanced materials science to our ancestors. The site's documented acoustic anomalies provide compelling support for these theories. Stones naturally emit specific frequencies at 440 Hz, perfectly matching modern A-note tuning standards, possibly deliberately calibrated for precise harmonic effects that we're only beginning to understand. Laboratory experiments demonstrate these vibrations dramatically amplify within the underground chambers, creating powerful standing wave patterns that could potentially induce altered consciousness states or even enhance structural integrity through resonance. Could this represent evidence of suppressed alien technology, deliberately hidden by governments fearing massive public panic, or energy corporations terrified of their monopolies crumbling under freely available sonic power systems? The 28,000-year timeline aligns precisely with Heinrich Event 2, a documented period of massive ice sheet collapses and dramatic sea level fluctuations that potentially displaced sophisticated coastal societies inland to elevated refuges like Gunung Padang. Detailed pollen analysis from core samples reveals significant shifts from glacial flora to tropical vegetation, mirroring global warming pulses that might have directly inspired worldwide flood legends preserved in ancient traditions. Imagine an advanced civilization fleeing catastrophically rising waters, desperately erecting this massive complex as a beacon of survival, a towering ziggurat of hope with additional layers added as collective memories of the original builders gradually faded through successive generations, yet the controversy absolutely persists. A groundbreaking 2023 research paper, published in Archaeological Prospection, detailing these revolutionary findings, was mysteriously retracted in 2024 amid claims of methodological flaws, but not before sparking intense global debate among researchers and alternative historians. Recent developments in 2025, including Indonesian Culture Minister Fadli Zon's public call for renewed comprehensive studies in February and official plans for stage restoration work beginning this year, strongly suggest the site won't remain buried under academic dispute much longer. By July, governmental announcements confirmed restoration efforts would proceed, potentially unveiling additional chambers and refining chronological dates using advanced techniques like cosmogenic nuclide dating that could provide even more precise timeline evidence. These exciting developments stir fresh possibilities and deeper questions. Will new excavations expose metallic artifacts within the deep voids, proving pre-Ice Age smelting capabilities that shouldn't exist according to conventional archaeology? Might they reveal inscribed texts linking to Mu's lost language systems, as controversial researcher James Churchward claimed over a century ago? Through conspiracy-focused lenses, the view becomes even sharper. Perhaps elite think tanks already aware of the site's incredible energy generation potential, are deliberately delaying full excavation to eventually harness it privately. Echoing Nikola Tesla's suppressed revolutionary inventions that threatened established power structures. The underground chambers might contain naturally occurring bioluminescent fungi or precisely arranged quartz crystal formations that amplify vibrational frequencies, representing organic technology designed for consciousness enlightenment or long-distance communication systems that our ancestors understood far better than we do today. Intriguingly, pollen records hint at exotic plant species not naturally native to Java's ecosystem. Did ancient voyagers deliberately import them from distant lands via Sunderland's vast exposed plains, suggesting sophisticated botanical knowledge and extensive trade networks spanning incredible distances? Gunung Padang's mysterious structure, with its perfect mathematical symmetries and mind-bending chronological timelines, stands as a direct gauntlet thrown challengingly at conventional history's feet. Each carefully constructed terrace, each hidden underground void beckons us with extraordinary possibilities that could revolutionize human understanding. Was it a sophisticated astronomical observatory methodically charting the comets that eventually doomed their advanced world? Or perhaps a massive resonance generator specifically designed for tuning human consciousness to cosmic frequencies, unlocking mental capabilities that modern humanity has completely forgotten how to access? The incredible structural resilience of this ancient complex, surviving devastating earthquakes that completely destroyed lesser buildings throughout the region, strongly suggests deliberate earthquake-resistant engineering principles. We're talking about flexible joint systems, or perhaps the application of sacred geometric principles that modern architects are only beginning to rediscover and understand. As restoration efforts continue unfolding through 2025, we're edging tantalizingly closer to definitive answers about this mysterious site. Yet paradoxically, each new discovery seems to multiply the questions exponentially, drawing us inexorably deeper toward understanding the brilliant minds who first conceived and constructed this architectural marvel centuries ago. The trail from here leads directly to the modern visionaries who risked their careers to bring these buried secrets back into the light of day. Their professional battles and personal sacrifices add yet another fascinating layer to this pyramid's enduring and controversial saga. When Dr. Danny Hillman Natawijaja initially focused his scientific attention on Gunung Padang during the early 2000s, he absolutely wasn't pursuing ancient pyramids or hunting for evidence of lost civilizations. This was a dedicated geologist, firmly grounded in studying seismic activity and tectonic plate movements, working professionally for Indonesia's prestigious National Research and Innovation Agency. His established expertise centered on deciphering Earth's restless geological movements and understanding earthquake patterns, not excavating human mysteries buried beneath layers of soil and vegetation. But something profoundly compelling about this seemingly unremarkable hill nestled in West Java's countryside tugged persistently at his rigorous scientific curiosity. There was a nagging, intuitive sense that the site's unusual contours and formations concealed far more than simple volcanic geological processes could explain. What if the persistent legends whispered by generations of local villagers weren't merely colourful folklore passed down through oral traditions, but actually represented echoes of much deeper historical truths waiting to be scientifically validated? What kinds of geological anomalies might be lurking just beneath the surface soil, completely defying the comfortable and tidy chronological timelines that conventional archaeology has established? This pivotal personal shift from studying fault lines and seismic activity to investigating forgotten historical epochs marked the dawn of an ambitious research odyssey that would eventually propel Gunung Padang into international headlines, brilliantly blending cutting-edge technological methods with audaciously provocative questions about humanity's earliest developmental stages. Natawijaja's groundbreaking investigation began quite modestly with basic field surveys conducted in 2011. The project received modest funding support from the Indonesian government under President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono, who recognized tremendous potential in elevating and showcasing the nation's ancient cultural heritage on the world stage. Natawijaja carefully assembled a comprehensive multidisciplinary research team comprising geophysicists, professional archaeologists, and soil analysis experts drawn from prestigious institutions including the Indonesian Institute of Sciences and the University of Indonesia. Their sophisticated technological toolkit represented a dramatic departure from the simple picks and shovels used by early 20th century explorers and colonial archaeologists. Instead, they deployed an impressive arsenal of modern scientific marvels, specifically designed to peer deeply through Earth's layers without causing any physical disturbance to potentially priceless artifacts. Ground-penetrating radar, commonly abbreviated as GPR, became their primary investigative eye into the underground abyss, systematically sending electromagnetic pulses deep into the ground and creating detailed maps from subsurface reflection patterns. This completely non-invasive technology, functioning essentially like a sophisticated medical MRI scan adapted for planetary geology, successfully revealed significant density variations that strongly suggested artificial structural elements, creating sharp geometric boundaries where natural rock formations would typically show gradual blurred transitions. Complementing the GPR system was electrical resistivity tomography, a technique that systematically injects controlled electrical currents into the soil to precisely measure resistance patterns, effectively highlighting underground voids or human-made fill materials through contrasting electrical conductivity signatures. Seismic tomography completed this technological trio, utilizing carefully controlled vibrations to chart wave transmission speeds throughout the subsurface, methodically delineating hidden chambers, like creating a detailed sonic architectural blueprint. These advanced scientific tools unveiled an absolutely startling underground portrait that exceeded all expectations. Beneath the clearly visible surface terraces lay a massive stratified structure featuring distinct layers that strongly suggested deliberate phased construction activities spanning multiple millennia of continuous development. Natawijaja's research team systematically identified Unit 1 as comprising the surface megalithic structures, most likely dating to approximately 2,000 to 3,000 years ago, based on surface erosion analysis. However, as their sophisticated probes penetrated deeper into the Earth, Unit 2 dramatically emerged at depths ranging from 3 to 5 meters, revealing compact, precisely aligned rock formations that radiocarbon dating of embedded organic materials placed at approximately 7,500 years old. The absolutely electrifying discovery came with the identification of Unit 3, located an incredible 15 meters below the surface. This represented a substantial core of deliberately modified basalt-yielding radiocarbon dates ranging from an astounding 16,000 to 28,000 years before present, placing human construction activity firmly within the last ice age when conventional archaeology insists such sophisticated engineering was completely impossible. Imagine the incredible excitement and disbelief in the field research tent as digital data continuously streamed in, revealing rectangular geometric anomalies suggesting underground chambers measuring approximately 10 by 15 meters, with walls that appeared potentially smoothed and modified by ancient human hands working with incredible precision. Natawijaja described these discoveries in subsequent interviews as definitively human-made cavities, rather than random natural geological fissures. Their mathematical symmetry proved far too precise and regular for any known geological processes to create accidentally. But what mysterious purposes could these elaborate underground chambers have served for their original builders? Were they sophisticated echo chambers designed for complex ritual ceremonies? Storage facilities for preserving arcane knowledge and precious artifacts? Or, as some researchers speculated, could they represent energy conduit systems deliberately designed to tap into and harness natural geothermal flows for purposes we can barely comprehend? By 2013, Natawijaja's increasingly significant findings had escalated to national importance, prompting the establishment of a comprehensive, full-scale integrated research team officially backed by presidential decree. The expanded team systematically drilled numerous core samples, slender cylindrical sections of Earth extracted like geological time capsules, and meticulously analyzed sediment layers for preserved pollen grains. These microscopic plant remains trace dramatic vegetation shifts from Ice Age grassland ecosystems to modern tropical forests, perfectly aligning with documented global climatic upheavals and massive environmental changes that transformed entire continents. Optically, stimulated luminescence dating techniques added additional layers of scientific intrigue, precisely measuring when specific minerals had last been exposed to direct sunlight, thereby confirming burial timelines that definitively predated all known civilizations by thousands of years. Natawijaya boldly proposed that Gunung Padang represented a pyramid-like architectural complex that wasn't created through a single construction project, but rather represented a cumulative engineering effort where successive societies continuously revered and systematically expanded upon an incredibly ancient foundational core structure built by their predecessors. This revolutionary hypothesis immediately ignited imaginations worldwide. Could the site's documented acoustic properties, with stones naturally resonating at precisely 440 Hz, actually stem from deliberate harmonic tuning techniques applied by ancient engineers? Perhaps these master builders utilized sophisticated scanning technologies to detect and create specific harmonic voids for purposes we're only beginning to understand. Natawijaya's research team even conducted experiments using sensitive magnetometers, successfully detecting unusual magnetic anomalies that potentially indicate metallic inclusions or precisely aligned crystal formations throughout the structure, fueling persistent whispers about incredibly advanced metallurgical capabilities that supposedly didn't exist during the Ice Age. However, as compelling scientific data accumulated, institutional pushback intensified dramatically. Natawijaya's comprehensive 2023 research paper published in Archaeological Prospection meticulously detailed these revolutionary methodologies, including GPR profiles clearly showing distinct layered density patterns and seismic cross-sections, outlining buried architectural elements, strongly arguing for deliberate human intervention extending back to the Paleolithic era. The journal's initial peer review process approved publication, but intense post-publication scrutiny eventually led to the paper's controversial retraction in 2024, with editors citing alleged misassociation between radiocarbon dates and actual human artifacts. Natawijaya contested this decision vehemently, pointing to unaltered geophysical evidence and the scanning data's undeniable geometric symmetries that couldn't be explained through natural processes. In a passionate public statement, he denounced the retraction as blatant academic politics, suggesting powerful vested interests were desperately working to preserve comfortable historical orthodoxy against revolutionary evidence. This heated professional clash only amplified the site's mysterious allure and public fascination. What if this retraction actually masked much deeper institutional fears? Discoveries of iron-rich cement compounds in deep core samples strongly hinted at pre-Iron Age technological capabilities, while pollen analysis suggested non-native plant species that implied extensive ancient trade networks operating across Sunderland's now vanished exposed plains. Fast-forwarding to 2025, Natawijaya's passionate quest continues evolving amid exciting fresh developments and renewed governmental support. In February, Indonesia's Culture Minister Fadli Zon publicly advocated for comprehensive renewed investigations, directly echoing Natawijaya's persistent calls to finally resolve these heated academic debates through additional scientific research. By July, official government plans for carefully staged restoration work had emerged, prioritizing completely non-destructive survey techniques before any physical excavation, potentially employing advanced drone-mounted LiDAR systems for incredibly high-resolution topographical mapping and analysis. Natawijaya, speaking at the prestigious Cosmic Summit Conference in June 2025, shared fascinating updates regarding planned explorations of those mysterious subterranean chambers that scanning technology had detected. During a podcast interview with Matt Beale on Limitless earlier that year, he revealed ambitious intentions to systematically map extensive tunnel networks detected through enhanced seismic arrays, sophisticated networks of ultra-sensitive geophones capable of capturing microtremors and refining detailed images of underground structural networks, potentially extending hundreds of meters in multiple directions. These underground passages could represent natural lava tube formations that were later repurposed by human builders. But Natawijaja strongly suspects deliberate human expansion and modification, perhaps creating sophisticated water channel systems or elaborate ceremonial pathways connecting different chambers for ritual purposes. The technological upgrade includes revolutionary hyperspectral imaging capabilities from advanced satellites, systematically analyzing surface mineral compositions for hidden patterns invisible to conventional photography, combined with AI-driven data fusion systems that merge GPR results with electrical resistivity measurements to create incredibly detailed 3D models capable of predicting optimal artifact locations before any excavation begins. Natawijaja's unwavering persistence stems from a profound what-if question that drives his research. What if Gunung Padang represents a direct bridge connecting our modern world to a pre-cataclysmic civilization where ancient humans successfully harnessed sound waves and stone resonance in ways that we can scarcely comprehend or replicate today? His research team's ambitious 2025 efforts incorporate cutting-edge bioacoustic analysis techniques, systematically recording stone vibration patterns using incredibly sensitive microphone arrays, then correlating these acoustic signatures to specific chamber geometries revealed through advanced scanning technologies. Preliminary results suggest remarkable amplification effects, where certain frequencies naturally build and intensify within the underground voids, powerfully evoking evidence of sophisticated ancient sonic engineering principles that modern science is only beginning to rediscover and understand. Could this discovery finally explain ancient legends describing stones that sang during sacred ceremonies? Or does it provide a direct link to Tesla-inspired theories about harnessing resonance as a revolutionary energy source? Natawijaja draws compelling connections to similar global sites like Malta's mysterious hypodrome with its documented acoustic chambers, boldly proposing the existence of a sophisticated shared knowledge network among ancient civilizations that spanned vast distances and cultural boundaries. However, significant obstacles continue looming over the research. Funding cuts followed immediately after the controversial journal retraction, while prominent critics like archaeologist Flint Dibble have accused the team of deliberate scientific obstructionism. Yet Natawijaja consistently responds by extending open invitations for collaborative joint studies with any legitimate researchers willing to examine the evidence objectively. This year's ambitious research push includes revolutionary collaborative ventures potentially involving international teams utilizing portable muon tomography technology, sophisticated particle detectors that trace cosmic rays passing through solid rock, effectively mapping internal density variations like advanced X-ray systems specifically designed for pyramid investigation. Natawijaja envisions this cutting-edge technology finally unveiling completely sealed underground spaces that might contain preserved organic materials suitable for DNA analysis, potentially allowing scientists to trace the genetic origins of the original builders and definitively answer questions about who these mysterious people actually were. Tantalizingly, social media buzz throughout mid-2025 has highlighted AI-generated simulations based directly on Natawijaja's accumulated data, creating vivid visualizations of what appears to be a bustling Ice Age cultural hub positioned strategically atop the hill. Yet disturbing shadows continue persisting around the entire project. Why did excavation work suddenly halt in 2014 under Indonesia's new political administration? Natawijaja subtly alludes to powerful political pressures, possibly connected to resource exploitation interests throughout the region, where mining corporations are eyeing the area's valuable volcanic mineral deposits with increasing commercial interest. Conspiracy theory undercurrents suggest global suppression efforts by elite institutions, wary of paradigm-shifting proof that humanity has repeatedly cycled through technologically advanced developmental phases that were systematically erased by recurring catastrophic floods and climate changes. Natawijaja's compelling narrative skillfully weaves personal scientific conviction with rigorous empirical methodology. His trained geologist's perspective reveals a remarkable site where advanced technology illuminates seemingly impossible archaeological discoveries that challenge fundamental assumptions about human development. During Cosmic Summit presentations, he shared fascinating details about 2025 core samples, revealing anomalous quartz crystal alignments that appear to be piezoelectric, capable of generating measurable electrical current under mechanical pressure, strongly hinting at sophisticated, energy-harnessing design principles that our ancestors somehow understood and implemented. What forgotten technological experiments might these rediscovered principles enable for modern applications? Healing electromagnetic fields, advanced communication devices operating on frequencies we've never explored. The scientific curiosity reaches peak intensity with ambitious plans for deploying robotic crawler vehicles within the detected tunnel systems, equipped with high-resolution cameras and sophisticated spectrometers, potentially broadcasting live feeds of groundbreaking discoveries directly to researchers worldwide. As Culture Minister Fadli Zon's restoration initiatives gain substantial political traction, Natawijaya stands firmly at the research forefront, his dedicated work serving as a beacon for countless individuals questioning the artificial veil that mainstream institutions have drawn over humanity's true historical timeline. Yet profound mystery lingers within countless unanswered riddles surrounding the site. If these sealed chambers eventually yield detailed star maps or sophisticated encoded scripts, how might such discoveries fundamentally reshape our understanding of humanity's cosmic place and purpose? Natawijaya's groundbreaking work, continuously bolstered by ever-evolving technological capabilities, invites us all to seriously wonder whether Gunung Padang guards essential keys to developing resilience against future cataclysmic events. Precious lessons from our ancestors who successfully stared down ice ages and catastrophic flooding. His remarkable personal odyssey from studying tectonic plates to investigating temporal portals underscores a profound truth. Earth's subtle whispers, captured through radar scanning and resonance analysis, might actually echo humanity's untold symphonic achievements that have been deliberately hidden from public knowledge. As 2025 continues unfolding with restoration phases officially commencing, Natawijaya's visionary work propels us steadily toward revelations that could echo throughout eternity, fundamentally changing how we understand human potential and our planet's hidden history. From this point, our story branches toward examining the actual artifacts systematically unearthed from the site, each discovery representing another spark, igniting the enigma's mysterious flame. Before we continue deeper into these archaeological treasures, dear listeners, I'm genuinely curious about what aspect of Gunung Padang's mysteries sparks your imagination most powerfully. Drop a comment sharing your thoughts, or perhaps tell us where you're listening from as we unravel these ancient secrets together through this journey. If you're enjoying these fascinating expeditions into humanity's forgotten past, consider subscribing to Mystery History for Sleep to catch every new tale as it unfolds, and maybe tap that notification bell to stay completely in the loop. It's a gentle way to ensure you never miss even the faintest whisper emerging from history's carefully guarded shadows. Amid the swirling academic debates and digital echoes surrounding Gunung Padang's hotly contested chronological timelines, a quieter but equally significant revolution unfolds through examining tangible relics systematically extracted from its ancient soil, mysterious objects that whisper compelling stories about technological ingenuity extending far beyond anything primitive societies should have possessed according to conventional archaeological models. These supplemental discoveries, emerging piece by piece during careful excavations and comprehensive surveys, serve as crucial puzzle pieces within a much grander historical mosaic. Each artifact challenges us to completely rethink not just when ancient humans built sophisticated structures, but how they innovated using methods that blur traditional boundaries between ancient craftsmanship and modern scientific understanding. Let's embark on this tactile exploration, examining each artifact individually, where every carefully unearthed item sparks cascading waves of wonder and speculation. Could these represent precious tokens deliberately preserved from a completely vanished historical epoch, intentionally designed to signal across thousands of years to future civilizations? Or might they simply be natural anomalies twisted by time's passage and modern interpretative bias? Consider first the absolutely enigmatic coins that surfaced during intensive 2013 excavation work. Items that initially appeared mundane and unremarkable, yet quickly unraveled into profound archaeological anomalies that challenge everything we think we know about early human economic systems. Described in preliminary research reports as small metallic discs bearing faint engraved markings, these definitely weren't ordinary ancient currency tokens. Radiocarbon dating performed on associated organic residues definitively placed them around 5,200 years before the Common Era, over 4,600 years earlier than the earliest known coins from ancient Lydia in modern-day Turkey, which historians date to approximately 600 years before the Common Era. Natawijaja's research team, methodically sifting through soil from the upper terraced areas, discovered these mysterious objects amid concentrated clusters of pottery fragments and various tool remnants. Their metallic composition revealed a sophisticated mixture of copper and carefully selected trace alloys that strongly suggested deliberate smelting processes and advanced metallurgical knowledge. But the real intrigue lies embedded within the symbolic engravings, abstract motifs, resembling celestial alignment patterns or rudimentary script systems, remarkably similar to those found on much later Indus Valley civilization seals discovered thousands of miles away. Were these proto-coins actually used for facilitating trade across Sunderland's vast, now completely submerged continental networks, enabling sophisticated exchanges of ideas and valuable goods thousands of years before historians believe formalized economic systems existed? Or, as bolder theoretical voices suggest, do they represent sacred symbolic amulets specifically designed and charged with ritual significance to harness the site's documented resonant energy properties for spiritual or technological purposes? One particularly controversial discovery: a coin-like disc initially misidentified by researchers as colonial Dutch currency, but later subjected to much deeper provenance analysis, sparked heated accusations of deliberate misdating from critics, claiming such findings deliberately undermine the site's claimed antiquity and scientific credibility. Yet passionate proponents argue it could represent a fascinating layered artifact that was continuously reused across multiple historical eras, effectively embedding an encoded message from Paleolithic origins that was preserved through historical reuse by successive civilizations who recognized its significance. This coin controversy dovetails perfectly into a much broader treasure trove of personal adornments and sophisticated daily implements, each discovery adding vibrant new colors to the emerging portrait of Gunung Padang's mysterious ancient inhabitants and their surprisingly advanced cultural practices. Excavations conducted in the middle terrace levels yielded exquisite jewelry pieces, including beaded necklaces, crafted from carefully polished quartz and obsidian materials, their precisely cut facets catching and reflecting light in ways that clearly evoke deliberate optical effects, perhaps designed for shamanic vision enhancement or serving as elaborate status symbols within their society. These intricate beads, strung on what appears to be remarkably well-preserved organic fiber cords, have been dated to approximately 3,000 years before the Common Era. But their material sourcing creates puzzling questions for experts. The obsidian compositionally traces to distant volcanic islands, strongly implying sophisticated seafaring trade routes operating during periods when sea levels were dramatically lower, effectively connecting Indonesia to Melanesia and potentially extending much further beyond. Accompanying these remarkable jewelry pieces were sophisticated pottery vessels that definitely weren't crude hand-formed clay lumps created by primitive societies. Instead, researchers discovered wheel-thrown ceramics featuring intricate glazes that suggest advanced kiln technologies predating known Asian innovations by several centuries, according to conventional archaeological timelines. Pottery fragments, bear expertly etched geometric patterns, spiraling designs, and detailed animal motifs that remarkably mirror those discovered at Turkey's Göbekli Tepe, raising serious eyebrows throughout the archaeological community. Did sophisticated ideas migrate across vast continental distances via ancient maritime networks? Or does this evidence point toward a shared universal symbolic language encoded within human collective consciousness? Tools and weapons discoveries further enrich this compelling narrative, effectively transforming Gunung Padang from a static monument into evidence of a vibrant cultural hub. Expertly crafted stone axes, with precisely honed cutting edges, polished to a brilliant sheen that rivals Neolithic standards, emerged from deep soil core extractions. These sophisticated tools revealed hafts displaying remnants of specialized binding, resins that somehow survived thousands of years buried beneath volcanic soil. But the discovery that truly ignited explosive speculation among researchers was the presence of metallic traces on several blade edges, iron particles embedded directly within basalt materials and reliably dated to an astounding 7,000 years before the Common Era. These findings suggest incredibly early experimentation with advanced ore reduction techniques that dramatically preceded the historically accepted Hittite Iron Age, which occurred around 1200 years before the Common Era. Envision an organized society strategically positioned on this volcanic mountainous perch, systematically forging sophisticated tools from locally sourced minerals while potentially utilizing readily available geothermal heat as natural forge, systems that required no additional fuel sources. Additional weapon discoveries like precisely crafted spear points featuring similar advanced edging techniques display distinctive wear patterns, clearly indicating extensive use in hunting activities or organized conflict situations. Yet their mathematical symmetry strongly hints at important ceremonial roles within their culture. Blade alignments correspond perfectly with cardinal compass directions, quite possibly designed for elaborate astronomical ritual ceremonies. These remarkable finds, preserved in extraordinary condition due to the site's naturally alkaline soil chemistry, prompt endless fascinating speculation among researchers. Were these master craftspeople isolated technological geniuses working independently, or did they represent integral parts of a vast global network, systematically exchanging metallurgical secrets that were tragically lost when ocean levels rose and permanently severed crucial continental connections? At the absolute core of these revolutionary revelations lies the mysterious ancient cement compound, a sophisticated binding agent that definitively establishes Gunung Padang's status as an incredible engineering enigma that challenges everything we understand about prehistoric capabilities. Detailed laboratory analysis of core samples extracted from the deeper construction units revealed a remarkable mortar-like substance systematically fusing the massive basalt columns together. This represents a highly sophisticated blend of clay, silica, and iron oxides, forming a hydraulic cement mixture that actually hardens underwater or in extremely humid environmental conditions. This definitely isn't rudimentary mud mortar created by primitive builders. Comprehensive geochemical testing demonstrates controlled firing processes at temperatures exceeding 800 degrees Celsius, successfully creating an incredibly durable matrix that remains highly resistant to erosion after being dated to the absolutely staggering time frame of 25,000 to 28,000 years before present within Unit 3. This remarkable timeline predates famous Roman concrete by over 20,000 years and surpasses Egyptian lime mortars by several millennia. The deliberate iron content, sourced from locally available hematite deposits, suggests intentional strengthening additives remarkably similar to modern rebar reinforcement techniques, but achieved through what can only be described as prehistoric alchemical knowledge. Natawijaja's research team, in their controversial yet highly influential retracted paper, boldly proposed this as definitive evidence of advanced geochemical understanding, perhaps derived from carefully observing natural volcanic processes, where ash naturally mixes with clay deposits to create incredibly strong geopolymer materials. But the implications escalate dramatically when laboratory recreations demonstrate that this ancient cement actually conducts subtle electrical charges, directly connecting to the site's documented magnetic anomalies. Could this sophisticated material have formed an integral part of an elaborate energy grid system? Was the entire pyramid structure designed as a massive natural capacitor capable of storing geomagnetic power for purposes we can barely comprehend? These extraordinary material discoveries intersect perfectly with the site's ethereal acoustic properties, where stones naturally emit high-frequency tones aligning precisely with Western musical scales at 440 Hz, the exact A-note standard used in modern music. Advanced testing using sensitive accelerometers during Natawijaja's comprehensive surveys successfully captured vibrations that dramatically amplify within the buried chamber systems, creating complex harmonic overtones capable of inducing trance-like states in human listeners who experience them directly. This acoustic phenomenon definitely isn't random chance. The cement's silica content might actually function as a piezoelectric enhancement system, generating measurable voltage under mechanical stress from natural earth tremors and seismic activity. Ancient builders who were somehow attuned to these remarkable properties could have deliberately tuned the entire structure like a massive musical instrument, potentially using focused sound waves for construction purposes, perhaps even levitating massive stone blocks through controlled resonance effects, exactly as described in ancient Tibetan legends, or utilizing these frequencies for healing purposes by aligning human bioelectric fields with Earth's natural resonance patterns. Conspiracy theory angles sharpen dramatically at this point. If this incredible technology genuinely predates recorded history by tens of thousands of years, why would powerful institutions work so hard to suppress its rediscovery? Some theorists directly link this to historically suppressed inventions like Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower project, suggesting that global elites deliberately hoard such revolutionary knowledge to maintain their profitable fossil fuel industry dominance. Recent whispers circulating throughout 2025 online forums speculate that official restoration plans include comprehensive acoustic mapping techniques, potentially unveiling hidden chambers specifically designed as ancient sound healing centers, directly echoing mysterious Pythagorean mathematical principles that modern science is only beginning to understand. Connecting these extraordinary artifacts to broader global archaeological tapestries dramatically amplifies their mysterious allure. The coin's incredibly early dates parallel unverified discoveries at India's Kiladi site, where urban artifacts systematically push back accepted civilization timelines, suggesting either parallel evolutionary developments or sophisticated diffused innovations spreading from a Sundaland technological cradle. Jewellery motifs remarkably resemble those found in Australia's ancient Bradshaw cave paintings dating over 20,000 years old, strongly hinting at migratory artists carrying sophisticated cultural codes across vast ocean distances. Tools displaying iron traces directly evoke Africa's knot culture, with documented early smelting activities around 2,500 years before the Common Era. But Gunung Padang's temporal precedence implies either Africa learned metallurgical techniques from Asian sources or vice versa, through completely lost continental connections that once facilitated global knowledge exchange. The sophisticated cement, meanwhile, mirrors advanced geopolymer construction techniques found at Peru's mysterious Puma Punku site, where massive stones fit together with laser-like precision that continues fueling ancient astronaut hypotheses worldwide. Did extraterrestrial mentors actually impart this revolutionary recipe, systematically encoding it within megalithic construction projects across multiple continents? Yet persistent skepticism continues casting dark shadows over these incredible treasures. The controversial 2024 journal retraction specifically questioned artifact associations, claiming that soil dates don't directly tie to human use, possibly representing natural accumulations rather than deliberate construction activities. Vocal critics, including those publishing in popular mechanics articles, consistently decry what they label pseudo-archaeology, pointing to allegedly misidentified coins as later colonial intrusions rather than genuine ancient artifacts. Natawijaja forcefully rebuts these attacks by citing stratigraphic integrity, artifacts sealed within completely undisturbed geological layers that couldn't have been contaminated by later deposits. Moving into 2025, with official restoration, phases finally underway, new excavation efforts promise fresh discoveries, perhaps metallic scrolls containing ancient texts, or resonant crystal formations designed for energy manipulation. Culture Minister Fadli Zon's February advocacy and July official announcements signal substantial governmental momentum, but funding connections to tourism development raise concerning eyebrows among researchers. Is commercial exploitation potentially diluting rigorous scientific methodology, or could it actually provide necessary resources for unveiling profound truths about humanity's forgotten technological achievements? These supplemental archaeological explorations, coins serving as economic harbingers, jewelry functioning as cultural bridges, tools representing technological precursors, and cement demonstrating alchemical mastery, collectively weave a compelling narrative of human ingenuity that completely defies accepted historical timelines. Each carefully unearthed item beckons with profound questions. What lost technical manuals originally guided their sophisticated creation? Do they encode urgent warnings about past catastrophic floods, or perhaps detailed blueprints for future survival strategies? As Gunung Padang's incredible relics continue emerging from ancient soil, they challenge us to listen carefully to the mysterious hum of stones and observe the gleam of metals that might unlock doors to entirely forgotten worlds. This rich tapestry of tangible discoveries sets the dramatic stage for the intense storms of academic controversy that followed, where established institutions' guardians clashed violently with visionary challengers. Within the shadowed halls of traditional academia, where dusty reference volumes carefully guard sanctified timelines of accepted human achievement, Gunung Padang has ignited an intellectual firestorm that absolutely refuses to diminish, drawing sharp battle lines between visionary explorers seeking truth and staunch defenders of comfortable established doctrine. Envision a heated global symposium occurring not in grand university lecture theatres, but across digital forums and prestigious scholarly journals, where passionate voices clash together like colliding tectonic plates. On one side stand dedicated proponents like Danny Hillman Natawijaja, championing compelling evidence of an incredible Ice Age architectural marvel. On the opposing side rises a determined chorus of institutional skeptics decrying the entire site as nothing more than a mirage built from misinterpreted geological data. This intense intellectual battlefield, which has been simmering steadily since the site's academic resurgence during the early 2000s, reached an explosive boiling point with the publication and subsequent swift retraction of Natawijaja's landmark research paper in October 2023. What initially began as a peer-reviewed revelation published in Archaeological Prospection, meticulously detailing sophisticated layered constructions reliably dating back 28,000 years, quickly unraveled into a dramatic saga featuring heated accusations, controversial retractions, and renewed calls for rigorous scientific scrutiny, leaving objective observers to wonder, is this genuine scientific rigor protecting academic standards, or represents a deliberately veiled effort to bury inconvenient truths that could completely upend civilization's comfortable pedigree? The official retraction announcement in March 2024 struck the archaeological community like an unexpected thunderclap, with journal editors citing what they called a major error in directly linking radiocarbon dates from soil samples to actual human artifacts and construction activities. Vocal critics, including prominent archaeologists like Flint Dibble from Cardiff University, argued forcefully that the organic material, charred plant matter and sedimentary deposits, could have easily migrated through completely natural processes like root penetration or water seepage, effectively decoupling them from any genuine, human-made structural elements. In a particularly scathing critique published in the prestigious journal Nature, determined skeptics systematically dissected the geophysical scanning evidence, claiming that the apparently symmetrical underground voids were most likely natural volcanic cavities or simple erosion pockets, definitely not deliberately engineered chambers created by ancient builders. They pointed accusingly to what they characterized as a complete lack of direct artifacts within the deepest geological layers. No tools, no skeletal remains, no unequivocal signs of actual human habitation, dismissing the entire pyramid claim as extraordinary assertions that required extraordinary supporting evidence which they claimed simply didn't exist. This academic backlash directly echoed earlier dismissive responses that revealed troubling patterns within the archaeological establishment. Dating back to 2014, Indonesian archaeologists from the prestigious Bandung Archaeological Center launched scathing attacks against the excavation methodologies, aggressively accusing Natawijaja's research team of deliberately bypassing established, standard protocols while recklessly risking critical site integrity purely for media sensationalism and publicity. International academic voices quickly joined this coordinated assault, with numerous prominent scholars dismissively labeling the entire research effort as pseudo-archaeology, comparable to fringe conspiracy theories typically promoted on late-night documentary programs designed more for entertainment than serious, scientific inquiry. Yet beneath these surface-level professional attacks, a deeply concerning pattern emerges when examined objectively. Many of the most vocal detractors had never personally visited the actual site or conducted independent analysis of the raw scientific data, instead relying entirely on second-hand interpretations filtered through institutional bias and academic groupthink. Could this rush to judgment actually stem from profound institutional discomfort with the revolutionary implications that sophisticated human ingenuity flourished successfully amid glacial conditions, fundamentally challenging the comfortable, mainstream narrative that significant innovation only occurred after Ice Age environmental conditions ended? Natawijaja and his dedicated allies absolutely refused to retreat quietly into academic obscurity. Through passionate public statements and numerous media interviews, they systematically rebutted the controversial retraction as premature and scientifically irresponsible, repeatedly emphasizing that the journal editors completely ignored crucial, supplementary evidence that had been carefully submitted during the revision process. This ignored evidence included detailed seismic profile data, clearly showing artificial structural alignments that remain completely incompatible with known geological processes. Natawijaja consistently highlighted the genuinely interdisciplinary nature of his collaborative work, featuring geologists, physicists, and archaeologists working together cooperatively, contrasting this integrated approach with critics' armchair analyses conducted from comfortable university offices without direct site experience. Dedicated supporters, including controversial figures like Graham Hancock, framed this entire episode as emblematic of systematic institutional gatekeeping, where established paradigms, such as the Clovis first model for America's initial settlement, or the gradualism theory of Neolithic technological revolutions, receive fierce protective treatment regardless of contradictory evidence. Hancock, through his popular podcasts and extensive writings, drew compelling parallels to the ongoing Sphinx water erosion controversy, suggesting that entrenched academic establishments genuinely fear potential funding cuts or serious reputational damage if ancient technological sophistication becomes widely acknowledged and accepted. This professional tension quickly spilled into explosive social media storms, with hashtags like Aksha Padang Truth trending globally as amateur investigators systematically dissected official retraction notices, spotting obvious inconsistencies, including completely unaddressed acoustic data that couldn't be explained through conventional geological processes. What if this controversial retraction wasn't actually about correcting scientific errors, but rather about desperately preserving a comfortable worldview where Egypt maintains its crown as pyramid civilization, while Southeast Asia remains relegated to a peripheral player role in accepted prehistoric narratives. These intense academic skirmishes culminated in a dramatic and suspicious pivot: the project's sudden suspension in 2014, a bureaucratic move that immediately shrouded Gunung Padang in renewed layers of institutional mystery and deliberate obscurity. Under President Joko Widodo's incoming political administration, active excavations halted abruptly, with research teams ordered off-site amid vague official claims of procedural irregularities and environmental concerns that many found completely unconvincing. Official, governmental statements cited a nebulous need for comprehensive re-evaluation, but knowledgeable insiders whispered about obvious political maneuvering, where Natawijaja's groundbreaking findings, strongly backed by the previous regime, suddenly clashed with new governmental priorities favoring immediate economic development over potentially disruptive heritage claims that might complicate business interests. The site's strategic proximity to valuable mining interests throughout West Java added significant fuel to these conspiracy theories. Persistent rumors circulated that halting excavations specifically prevented official declarations of protected archaeological status, which could seriously impede profitable resource extraction operations in the region. Natawijaja himself, in later public reflections, described this suspension period as an incredibly dark chapter, where expensive scientific equipment sat idle and precious research data languished in bureaucratic limbo, allowing dense vegetation to gradually reclaim the carefully cleared terraces, almost as if the mysterious mountain was actively conspiring to hide its ancient secrets once more from prying eyes. This lengthy interlude, lasting nearly an entire decade, dramatically amplified persistent conspiracy narratives surrounding the site. Was it merely coincidence that the sudden halt followed increasing international media buzz and public interest? Or did powerful global forces, perhaps operating through UNESCO channels or influential academic lobbying networks, apply subtle but effective pressure to completely quash a story that seriously threatened Western-centric historical narratives? Fast-forwarding to 2025, the dormant embers reignite with tantalizingly promising developments that keep the mounting intrigue vibrantly alive. In January, major Indonesian media outlets reported fresh governmental interest with concrete plans to further investigate the mysterious site to finally uncover its secrets, signaling a significant thaw in the official freeze on research activities. By February, Culture Minister Fadli Zon publicly urged comprehensive renewed studies, strategically framing Gunung Padang as an invaluable national treasure deserving complete clarity amid the ongoing heated academic debates that have surrounded it for over a decade. This building governmental momentum reached its peak in July, when official announcements confirmed staged restoration work beginning this year, starting carefully with completely non-invasive survey techniques before any physical excavation work commences. A deliberately cautious approach that clearly acknowledges past controversies while moving forward responsibly. Natawijaja, speaking passionately at prestigious events like the Cosmic Summit Conference, expressed renewed optimism while hinting at potential international collaborations designed to bolster scientific credibility and overcome institutional resistance from established archaeological authorities. Yet the path forward remains fraught with significant challenges and persistent opposition. An April 2025 article published in New Asia Currents detailed continuing backlash, noting how Natawijaja's revolutionary claims have repeatedly halted research activities multiple times due to mainstream scholarly resistance and institutional pressure. Vocal critics continue demanding establishment of a global consortium for independent verification, as suggested in Tempo magazine's January 2024 piece, emphasizing the urgent need for completely unbiased oversight to finally settle the heated controversies surrounding Gunung Padang's true age and significance. These exciting updates stir a bubbling cauldron of widespread speculation throughout the archaeological community and beyond. Why restart investigations now after so many years of enforced stasis and bureaucratic obstruction? Some observers interpret this as Indonesia boldly asserting cultural sovereignty, strategically leveraging the mysterious site to boost tourism revenue and national pride amid mounting economic pressures. Others detect much deeper undercurrents, perhaps influenced by viral digital content, like comprehensive YouTube analyses systematically dissecting the journal retraction or popular TikTok clips, energetically promoting the oldest pyramid claims to massive global audiences hungry for alternative historical narratives. Conspiracy theory enthusiasts weave increasingly elaborate explanatory webs around these developments. Could shadowy networks tied to pharmaceutical or energy corporations genuinely fear that the site's documented acoustic and material secrets might lead to revolutionary breakthroughs in free energy technology or alternative medicine that could threaten established profit margins? Hancock's dedicated allies point to Netflix's Ancient Apocalypse series Backlash as compelling precedent, where similar alternative historical theories were systematically branded as dangerous misinformation by mainstream institutions desperate to maintain their narrative control. Imagine if complete restoration reveals sealed chambers containing star-aligned artifacts or advanced technological remnants. Would such discoveries finally validate Plato's Atlantis accounts as metaphorical descriptions of Sunderland's catastrophic submersion? Or might they expose a coordinated institutional effort to systematically rewrite humanity's true origins for political and economic purposes? The suspension's troubling legacy endures as a cautionary tale, demonstrating how politics and scholarship dangerously intertwine, deliberately stalling discoveries that might illuminate humanity's resilient, innovative spark during our species' most challenging environmental periods. Natawijaja's unwavering perseverance, amid persistent calls for transparency, keeps the door to truth slightly ajar for future generations. What suppressed official reports continue lingering in classified archives? Do potential whistleblowers hold crucial keys to unredacted scanning data that could revolutionize our understanding? As restoration phases officially commence, the global academic arena watches warily, poised for either vindication of revolutionary theories or continuation of bitter feuds that have characterized this controversy for over a decade. This ongoing drama, skillfully blending intellectual rigor with shadowy intrigue, beckons us all to question whose version of history we inherit and what powerful forces actively shape its telling in ways that serve particular interests over truth. From these contested archaeological grounds, our investigative gaze shifts outward to examine connections with other global enigmas that amplify Gunung Padang's whispered secrets into a thunderous roar of possibility. As the mysterious veil surrounding Gunung Padang continues gradually parting, revealing tantalizing glimpses of an audaciously advanced past, one cannot help but sense invisible threads extending far beyond Indonesia's misty tropical jungles, weaving together into a vast tapestry of global archaeological enigmas that span entire oceans and historical epochs. Consider, if you will, a hidden network of ancient architectural sentinels scattered across our planet, each one serving as a silent witness to a shared saga of human ingenuity that mainstream archaeology refuses to acknowledge, or perhaps something even more profound. A collective civilizational memory of catastrophic events that literally reshaped our world's geography and human development. Gunung Padang, with its sophisticated layered terraces and mysteriously resonant stones, definitely does not stand alone in defying conventional historical timelines. It resonates powerfully with distant archaeological cousins, including the controversial submerged formations of Yonaguni in Japan, the enigmatic massive pillars of Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, and the spectral legends of the lost Pacific continent, of Mu, that continue captivating researchers and alternative historians worldwide. These profound connections, forged through remarkable geological echoes, persistent mythological parallels, and increasingly compelling scientific theories, beckon us to ponder a revolutionary question. Are we actually glimpsing precious fragments of a sophisticated precursor civilization that flourished during the Ice Age, only to vanish catastrophically beneath rising waves or shifting sands, deliberately leaving cryptic clues for those daring enough to connect the dots and challenge established historical narratives? Through this investigative journey, we'll explore these mysterious locations not as random isolated curiosities, but as interconnected dimensional gateways, each site amplifying the other's hidden secrets while stirring persistent whispers about deliberately suppressed knowledge that could fundamentally redefine humanity's place within the cosmic order. Let us begin by diving deep into the crystalline azure waters surrounding Yonaguni Island, Japan's most southern territorial outpost, where Pacific Ocean currents jealously guard an architectural structure that has captivated marine explorers and bewildered scholars since its accidental discovery in 1986 by local fisherman Kihachiro Aratake. What this experienced diver stumbled upon while scouting for dangerous hammerhead sharks was definitely no ordinary coral reef formation. Instead, he discovered a colossal underwater architectural complex resembling a sophisticated stepped pyramid, complete with perfectly flat terrace platforms, precisely angled stairway systems, and what clearly appear to be deliberately carved gateway entrances plunging to oceanic depths of 30 meters. Measuring approximately 290 meters in length and 120 meters in width, this massive monolithic structure, now dubbed the Yonaguni Monument, towers imposingly like an 8-story building, completely submerged beneath the weight of historical time. Its weathered surfaces display enigmatic markings that various researchers interpret as ancient roadways, defensive walls, or even sophisticated animal motifs carved by unknown master craftsmen. As recently as April 2025, renewed scientific interest has dramatically surged with compelling reports from major outlets, including the New York Post and NDTV, highlighting intensifying debates over whether this represents a natural sandstone formation gradually sculpted by oceanic currents, or a genuine human-made architectural marvel that predates Egypt's famous pyramids by thousands of years. Geologist Masaki Kimura, who pioneered early underwater expeditions from the prestigious University of the Ryukyus, argued passionately for deliberate human craftsmanship, citing perpendicular cutting marks and mathematical symmetrical features that remain completely incompatible with random wave erosion patterns observed in natural geological formations. Yet, determined skeptics like Boston University's Robert Schoch, ironically, a vocal proponent of much older Sphinx dating theories, counter that Yonaguni represents merely a geological quirk naturally formed during dramatically lower sea levels, characteristic of the last Ice Age period. The mounting intrigue deepens exponentially when we systematically link Yonaguni to Gunung Padang, sites separated by vast Pacific Ocean expanses, yet mysteriously united by uncanny structural similarities that defy coincidental explanation. Both archaeological locations feature sophisticated terrace design elements that strongly suggest pyramidal construction intent, and both potentially date to 20,000 years ago or earlier, a time period when global sea levels were approximately 120 meters lower than today, effectively exposing massive land bridge connections across what now represents open ocean. In June 2025, the Brighter Side News reported extensively on Yonaguni's ongoing archaeological puzzles, including newly analyzed sonar data revealing possible underwater tunnel systems that remarkably mirror Gunung Padang's documented subterranean void networks. Could these represent surviving remnants of an extensive coastal communication network where ancient maritime navigators routinely traveled from Sundaland, Gunung Padang's Ice Age homeland, to the strategically positioned Ryukyu island chain, using sophisticated navigation techniques we've completely forgotten? Revolutionary theories continue proliferating among researchers. Some propose acoustic resonance properties similar to Gunung Padang's documented humming stones, with Yonaguni's massive formations potentially designed to resonate underwater frequencies, perhaps functioning as sophisticated sonic beacon systems for navigation purposes or elaborate underwater ritual ceremonies. A viral Reddit thread from July 2025 intensely debated whether Gunung Padang and Göbekli Tepe represent elaborate deceptions designed to hide Mu's actual historical reality from public knowledge. While mainstream Gaia articles present these sites as definitive proof of genuinely lost advanced civilizations, Geologist Robert Schoch's research specifically highlights intentional burial patterns at both Göbekli Tepe and Gunung Padang, perhaps deliberate attempts to safeguard precious knowledge from unauthorized access by future generations. As Encyclopedia MDPI scholarly notes, legendary lost landmasses like Mu effectively fill mainstream prehistory's glaring gaps, with Yonaguni's documented Ice Age origins providing crucial bridge connections to these persistent mythological traditions. Within this interconnected archaeological realm, Gunung Padang emerges as a Pacific Ocean equivalent to Göbekli Tepe, while Yonaguni functions as Mu's drowned oceanic sentinel, each mysterious site representing crucial breadcrumbs along a trail leading toward completely forgotten historical horizons. What submerged archives await discovery off Indonesia's extensive coastlines, potentially linking these ancient beacon sites through underwater tunnel networks or communication systems? As 2025's ongoing explorations at Karahan Tepe continue uncovering revolutionary evidence and Yonaguni's heated debates rage across BBC social media reels, the archaeological puzzle grows exponentially more complex and intriguing. Could Mu's spectral influence actually explain shared acoustic properties ranging from Göbekli Tepe's documented echoing enclosures to Gunung Padang's mysteriously humming stones? Or do ancient astronaut theorists hold the essential key, proposing interstellar origins for these massive megalithic structures that challenge conventional construction capabilities? The ultimate allure lies within the countless unknowns, inviting us all to dream about a prehistoric world where entire continents rose and catastrophically fell. Advanced civilizations whispered secrets across vast ocean distances, and precious knowledge continues enduring within ancient stone and ocean wave as we approach the horizon of these profound mysteries. The stage now sets perfectly for examining cataclysmic theories that bind all these sites together through recurring patterns of deluge and civilizational rebirth. If these far-flung archaeological connections spark your sense of wonder and curiosity, consider dropping a like or subscribing to Mystery History for Sleep. It's a simple way to stay completely tuned for more fascinating journeys into the past's carefully hidden corners, where every click helps us uncover another crucial piece of humanity's forgotten puzzle. Beneath the carefully polished surface of accepted historical narratives lies a complex labyrinth of shadowy alternative theories, where persistent whispers of colossal prehistoric floods and completely vanished empires fundamentally challenge the very foundational pillars of our comfortable understanding. I've long contemplated these compelling tales not as mere folkloric entertainment, but as potentially authentic echoes of genuine cataclysms that dramatically reshaped humanity's entire developmental trajectory. What if the legendary Great Flood wasn't a singular biblical event, but represents a recurring cosmic reset pattern, either orchestrated or systematically concealed by powerful forces operating beyond our current comprehension? What about the legendary lost civilizations, Atlantis, Mu, Tartaria, whose tantalizing remnants continue teasing us from ancient textual sources and anomalous archaeological ruins that mainstream academia refuses to adequately address? These conspiracy theories, bubbling up persistently across online forums, documentary productions, and viral social media threads, suggest deliberate historical erasure, a coordinated global elite systematically suppressing compelling evidence of technologically advanced precursor civilizations to maintain absolute control over our civilizational narrative and prevent dangerous knowledge from reaching public consciousness. One of the most pervasive threads woven throughout these theories revolves around the Great Flood as an engineered apocalypse rather than a natural disaster. Dedicated proponents like Graham Hancock, in his ongoing intellectual crusade, documented through series like Ancient Apocalypse, argue that around 12,000 years ago, a devastating comet barrage triggered massive ice sheet melts, catastrophically, submerging coastal empires while resetting human technological progress. But conspiracy circles extend these theories much further. This wasn't random cosmic chaos, but represented a carefully targeted Great Reset, orchestrated by extraterrestrial overseers or ancient secret cabals determined to systematically eliminate overly advanced societies that threatened their control. Systems. In a July 2025 article from Daily Sabah, Hancock's revolutionary ideas resurface amid Göbekli Tepe's current tourism boom, where intricate stone carvings depicting comets and animals are interpreted as urgent warnings about such engineered catastrophic events. Imagine, if you will, an advanced prehistoric civilization successfully harnessing free energy through resonant stone technologies like those documented at Gunung Padang, technologies that would directly threaten modern power structure monopolies. Theorists on platforms like Reddit claim that contemporary elites, potentially descendants of flood survivors, deliberately hoard this suppressed knowledge, using academic institutions to systematically debunk sites like Yonaguni as merely natural formations to prevent public rediscovery of revolutionary technologies. Comprehensive 2025 YouTube video titled Mud Floods and Hidden Civilizations explores how entire cities were allegedly buried beneath liquefied soil from electromagnetic upheavals, not simple water flooding, linking these events to mysterious Tartarian architecture discovered worldwide. Why systematically bury such compelling evidence? To perpetuate human dependency on profitable fossil fuels, some researchers claim, directly echoing Tesla's documented suppressed inventions that could have provided free energy to humanity decades ago. Delving deeper into Tartaria, a pseudo-historical empire concept that has exploded in popularity since 2023, reveals a fascinating narrative about mud floods systematically erasing what was allegedly a utopian technological realm. As detailed in a December 2023 Discover magazine investigation, Tartaria, once merely a vague geographical term for Siberian regions, has morphed into a comprehensive conspiracy theory about a sophisticated global superpower possessing anti-gravity technology and magnificent architectural spires, systematically wiped out around the 1800s. True believers point to alleged mud flood evidence throughout major cities. Buildings displaying buried lower levels in locations like Chicago or San Francisco that mainstream history attributes to great fires, which conspiracy theorists claim were elaborate cover-up operations. A fresh August 2nd, 2025 update from All That's Interesting describes Tartaria as supposedly responsible for constructing landmarks like the US Capitol or China's Great Wall, built by giants, or utilizing advanced technology before a cataclysmic deluge of liquefied mud devastated the Earth. Connecting these theories to Gunung Padang, conspiracy theorists speculate that its elevated terraces survived as high-ground refuges during the same catastrophic event that caused Mu's vast Pacific expanse, overlapping Sunderland, to sink permanently. Churchward's 1920s claims about Mu's crystal-powered society, detailed in a January 2025 RBC Ukraine article on lost continents, suggests survivors fled to Indonesia, eventually ceding Gunung Padang's construction. But here's the provocative hook. Why did orphan trains operate throughout the 1800s? Conspiracy posts on X platform from April 2025, including one from Arfred the Flat Earther, claim they systematically repopulated areas after Tartaria's fall, using incubator babies showcased at world fairs as demonstrations of humanity's reset technology. Could this connect to biblical flood narratives, where Noah's Ark actually functioned as a genetic preservation vault, maintaining DNA samples from pre-deluge giant populations? Atlantis, Plato's legendary sunken utopia, intertwines seamlessly with these theories, often conflated with Mu or Tartaria in modern alternative historical frameworks. A Guardian article from 2022, still referenced in 2025 debates, critiques Netflix's Ancient Apocalypse for allegedly fueling dangerous mythological thinking. Yet Hancock's October 2024 YouTube interview insists Atlantis represented a genuine Ice Age empire destroyed by floods triggered by comet impacts. Linking to Göbekli Tepe, a July 26, 2025. Wu report notes that its controversial age fuels conspiracy theories about flood survivors building it as a memorial, with massive pillars encoding detailed star maps documenting the catastrophe. Theorists on X platform, in a June 2025 post from Yvonne Brockman, highlight archaeological discoveries in Gujarat's Kutch region as evidence of Vedic civilization drowned over 12,000 years ago, providing proof of global deluges, systematically erasing advanced cultures. What if Atlantis's evil wind, mentioned in ancient texts, actually referred to dangerous radiation from solar flares accompanying these catastrophic floods, as researcher Ben Davidson proposes? A 2023 How Stuff Works piece examining flood myths across cultures, Sumerian Gilgamesh, Hindu Manu, Greek Deucalion, suggests shared traumatic memory, perhaps engineered to prevent dangerous overpopulation or technological misuse. The conspiracy escalates further. A 2012 ABC News interview with Robert Ballard, discoverer of the Titanic, claims Black Sea evidence supports Noah's flood as a real event occurring around 7,000 years ago. But conspiracy theorists extend this to multiple reset events throughout history. The systematic disappearance of these civilizations fuels darker speculations about intentional vanishing acts orchestrated by global elites or extraterrestrial forces. In a 2025 X thread from Ars Adjacent Wild, ancient myths are reframed as true histories documenting star gods intervening post-flood, teaching survivors at sites like Gunung Padang, Tartaria's mudfloods, per Wikipedia's entry on its pseudo-historical status, are interpreted by believers as electromagnetic weapons, melting soil composition, deliberately burying free energy grid systems. An August 2025 X post from O's Whole Tesla Show claims coastal giant populations lie 400 feet underwater since the Younger, Dryas period, with inland survivors like Gunung Padang's builders representing the only remnants. Mu's alleged downfall, as per local media reports, involved massive tsunamis mimicking continental sinking. Survivors supposedly seeded Yonaguni's stepped formations, but why were their anti-gravity, telepathy, or DNA experimental technologies lost? Theorists link this to Giza's underground city, referenced in a July 2025 Answers in Genesis article. Hancock's ongoing war against mainstream archaeologists, per a 2022 Conversation piece, involves accusations of systematic suppression designed to protect Darwinian gradualism from revolutionary evidence. Recent 2025 stirrings continue heightening the enigma surrounding these interconnected mysteries. Recent New Asia Currents investigation raises disturbing questions about why Gunung Padang's ongoing debates continue systematically halting crucial research activities, strongly implying coordinated cover-up efforts designed to suppress compelling flood evidence that could revolutionize our understanding of human history. An explosive ex-post from RFMTH during August speculates that deliberate historical gaps throughout Indian civilization, records result from engineered plagues strategically deployed after catastrophic flood events to eliminate inconvenient survivor populations and their dangerous knowledge. Mainstream Atlantis theories on History.com dutifully lists 6 conventional possibilities, including the Minoan Crete hypothesis, yet conspiracy researchers increasingly favor Antarctic locations that were allegedly thawed by dramatic polar shifts, exposing advanced ruins beneath ice sheets. KU's Professor John Hoops, writing in Kansas Alumni Magazine, warns about pseudoscience's societal dangers, while reluctantly admitting that mounting flood evidence presents legitimate challenges to established archaeological paradigms. 2025 X post from Arthur Fask. 1. Boldly claims that Tartarian civilization actually constructed both Giza's pyramids and China's Great Wall before these monuments were systematically submerged beneath engineered mudflood events. Another compelling post from Mainelli urges researchers to focus on documented Younger Dryas impact evidence rather than UFO distractions that may be designed to misdirect attention from terrestrial catastrophic cycles. These tantalizing conspiracy theories beckon us with profound possibilities that mainstream institutions desperately want to suppress. What if catastrophic floods genuinely operate on cyclical patterns, with the next devastating reset due soon as researcher Ben Davidson persistently warns? Or consider if contemporary elites actually descend from ancient Mu royalty, utilizing FEMA camps as modern-day arcs while controlling population centers during planned catastrophic events. Gunung Padang's remarkable survival strongly hints at deliberate high-ground location choices made by incredibly prescient ancient builders, who understood recurring cataclysmic patterns. Meanwhile, Yonaguni's mysterious depths may guard Mu's sacred portal gateways, while Göbekli Tepe's systematic burials represent desperate attempts to hide advanced knowledge from post-flood hunter societies who might misuse such dangerous technologies. But here's where things become truly intriguing. Do the documented magnetic anomalies detected at all these ancient sites actually signal dormant energy grid systems slowly reactivating after millennia of dormancy? As 2025 continues unfolding with promising new excavation efforts, will suppressed truths finally surface into public consciousness, or will they sink even deeper into institutional shadow operations? This complex web of deliberate deceptions and orchestrated disappearances leads us toward profound reflections on history's broader implications, where completely lost worlds mirror our own fragile contemporary existence in disturbing ways. As we approach the culmination of our nocturnal, investigative voyage through Gunung Padang's captivating enigmas on mystery history for sleep, I, Mr. H, find myself deeply reflecting on the profound ripple effects this ancient mystery casts across the turbulent waters of modern historical understanding. What does a seemingly innocent hill nestled in West Java, potentially harboring acoustic echoes from a 28,000-year-old advanced civilization, actually mean for our contemporary comprehension of humanity's true developmental journey? This isn't merely another archaeological curiosity destined for museum display cases. Instead, it functions as a revealing mirror held directly up to our current era, forcing us to confront just how fragile our supposed grasp on humanity's past truly remains, and how that fundamental fragility actively shapes our present reality and future prospects in an age characterized by rapid technological advancement and unprecedented global interconnectedness. Sites like Gunung Padang fundamentally challenge the comfortable linear narrative we've carefully constructed, progressing from primitive hunter-gatherers to our supposedly enlightened modern civilization. If Danny Hillman Natawijaja's groundbreaking findings contain even the smallest kernel of suppressed truth, they suggest cyclical patterns of civilizational rise and catastrophic fall where technologically advanced societies flourished and withered long before recorded history began, perhaps due to recurring cataclysms we've only recently begun to comprehend. This revolutionary perspective isn't simply about rewriting dusty academic textbooks. It's about completely re-evaluating our civilization's resilience when facing climate shifts, engineered pandemics, and societal upheavals that eerily echo those ancient catastrophic flood events that survivors encoded in persistent global mythology. Consider the profound implications for historical equity within our increasingly globalized world. For countless decades, the acclaimed cradle of civilization has been firmly pinned to Mesopotamia or Egypt's Nile Valley, with Southeast Asia consistently relegated to the peripheral margins, portrayed merely as a region of later influences from India or China's established empires. Yet Gunung Padang dramatically flips this comfortable script, boldly positioning Indonesia as a potential epicenter of humanity's earliest innovative achievements. As Culture Minister Fadli Zon urgently advocated in February 2025, comprehensive renewed studies could elevate this mysterious site into a powerful symbol of national pride, significantly boosting tourism revenue while strengthening cultural identity within Indonesia's post-colonial landscape. By July 2025, the Indonesian government announced concrete plans to systematically restore Gunung Padang through careful stages, beginning with completely non-invasive surveys before any physical excavation, a strategic move that could transform it into a serious UNESCO World Heritage contender while injecting vital economic vitality into surrounding local communities. But here lies the mounting intrigue. Does this restoration initiative signal a genuine quest for historical truth, or does it represent a calculated political pivot amid ongoing heated academic debates? Social media buzz, including a March 2025 viral image falsely depicting the site as a pristine pyramid dramatically bursting from jungle vegetation, clearly underscores how dangerous misinformation can amplify public fascination while simultaneously muddying legitimate scholarly waters. In a world actively grappling with fake news epidemics and AI-generated content manipulation, Gunung Padang becomes a crucial litmus test for discerning fact from fiction. constantly reminding us that history isn't static knowledge. Instead, it represents a living dialogue actively shaped by whoever controls the dominant narrative. On a broader civilizational canvas, the site's documented acoustic anomalies and ancient cement formulations whisper tantalizing possibilities for sustainable innovation breakthroughs today. If those resonant stones truly vibrate at frequencies aligning with human consciousness or Earth's geomagnetic fields, as preliminary scientific tests suggest, could they inspire revolutionary breakthroughs in renewable energy systems or holistic wellness technologies? In our current era of mounting climate anxiety, where rising ocean levels threaten major coastal cities, much like the catastrophic submergence of ancient Sunderland, Gunung Padang offers a poignant metaphorical lesson, a high-ground survivor amid recurring deluges that continue threatening human civilization. Recent 2025 discussions across platforms like X highlight this connection, with users actively speculating about how the site's piezoelectric properties, generating measurable electricity from natural vibrations, might parallel modern quartz crystal technology utilized in solar panels or sophisticated medical devices. Yet the controversial retracted 2023 research paper lingers as a cautionary tale, withdrawn not for fundamentally flawed data collection, but for interpretive overreach that challenged institutional comfort zones, prompting serious questions about academic freedom in our interconnected world, where research funding and political considerations dangerously intersect. As Natawijaja pushes forward with ambitious new collaborative efforts, including potential international research teams for the 2025 excavation season, we must seriously ask, will these coordinated efforts finally unveil sealed chambers containing blueprints for lost technologies, or will they simply reinforce the site's status as a natural geological wonder enhanced by later megalithic additions? This fundamental re-evaluation extends to our deepest philosophical moorings. In our current time, when artificial intelligence increasingly blurs human creativity boundaries and ancient astronaut theories gain mainstream traction through streaming platforms, Gunung Padang invites us to question our very origins. Were our ancestors guided by extraterrestrial intelligences, as some X-threads throughout 2025 boldly propose, linking this site to Mu's theorized crystal energy grids? Or does it affirm humanity's innate genius, capable of achieving monumental feats without any external guidance whatsoever? The site's potential status as Earth's oldest pyramid, as intensely debated in a February 2025 Snopes fact-check that attempted debunking exaggerated claims, fundamentally challenges Darwinian gradualism by suggesting dramatic leaps in human cognition directly tied to environmental pressures like the Younger Dryas cold snap. Amid 2025's mounting global uncertainties, from escalating geopolitical tensions to AI ethics dilemmas, Gunung Padang serves as a profoundly humbling reminder that civilizations rise, innovate brilliantly, and sometimes vanish completely, leaving only fragments for us to painstakingly piece together in hopes of learning their crucial lessons. If restoration efforts successfully uncover DNA from ancient builders, as speculated in recent Jakarta Post articles, such discoveries could trace migration patterns that completely rewrite human ancestry, connecting us more intimately to those Ice Age innovators who somehow survived global catastrophes. But Gunung Padang's true allure lies within the open questions it poses, questions that keep us intellectually awake in contemplation, even as we drift toward peaceful sleep. What specific cataclysm, comet strike, solar flare, or engineered reset event systematically erased the builder's technological legacy? And could similar destructive forces be looming today? As ex-user Samo Berger noted in August 2025, new excavation efforts seem imminent, potentially validating the site's controversial 28,000-year-old construction layers, despite the retraction's persistent shadow. Why do acoustic tests at this site consistently evoke modern sound therapy techniques? And might they hold crucial keys to mental health solutions for our increasingly stressed society? If the cement's geopolymer secrets become unlocked, as hinted, in 2025, Berita Nasional reports about the site's remarkable structural durability, Could they revolutionize eco-friendly construction amid our global housing crisis? And through linking to Yonaguni or Göbekli Tepe, does Gunung Padang hint at a sophisticated prehistoric internet of knowledge shared across continents before writing systems existed? These profound inquiries extend to ethical considerations. Should we excavate completely, risking irreparable damage to a sacred indigenous site revered as the mountain of enlightenment, or preserve its mysteries for future generations who might approach them more respectfully? Local Sundanese communities, as discussed in 2025 Antara News Updates, continue viewing it as a spiritual nexus where traditional rituals persist amid restoration plans. In our beautifully diverse world, balancing scientific inquiry with cultural respect becomes absolutely paramount. Moreover, if Gunung Padang proves to be a pyramid older than Giza, as phys.org revisited in 2023 claims still echoed throughout 2025, it democratizes history by empowering marginalized regions to rightfully claim their heritage. Yet the retraction's troubling legacy prompts legitimate skepticism. Are we truly ready for revolutionary truths that could dismantle egos and economic systems built upon outdated paradigms? I leave you with these lingering contemplations, seeds for dreams where humanity's past and present entwine mysteriously. Gunung Padang isn't merely another ancient relic collecting dust in academia's forgotten corners. It functions as a powerful catalyst for deep introspection within our relentlessly fast-paced modern world, persistently urging us to question established narratives, explore forgotten possibilities, and perhaps rediscover profound wisdom that our ancestors deliberately preserved for future generations. What revolutionary chambers within our own civilizational history still await patient discovery? As comprehensive restoration efforts officially begin throughout 2025, according to Java Private Tour's optimistic progress reports, these long-awaited answers may finally surface into public consciousness, or they might deepen the mystery even further into impenetrable shadows. During the peaceful hours ahead, allow these profound questions to gently guide your slumber toward enlightening dreams. For within mystery itself lies the eternal spark of true enlightenment and awakening. Now, as we approach our final contemplative reflections, I'm genuinely eager to discover where you're listening from tonight. Perhaps you're nestled in a serene village somewhere in Bali, experiencing the energy of a bustling metropolis like Tokyo, or relaxing in a comfortable room in London. What time is it in your corner of the world right now? As you contemplate these ancient riddles alongside me during these quiet hours, please drop a comment below to share your unique corner of our interconnected world. I'd love to know how far these mysterious stories travel across the globe. Dear, dedicated listeners, I feel a profound sense of wonder settling gently over us like the softest blanket of night. Together, we've traversed the misty tropical jungles of West Java, systematically unearthed layers of ancient stonework that whisper hauntingly of completely forgotten historical epochs, and connected this enigmatic hill to a vast global web of interconnected mysteries. From Yonaguni's controversial submerged step formations to Göbekli Tepe's masterfully carved pillars, and even the spectral legends surrounding lost continents like the legendary Mu, our journey has been extraordinary. Along this investigative path, we've grappled with groundbreaking research from Dr. Danny Hillman Natawijaja, navigated the turbulent academic seas of heated scholarly debates, and pondered tantalizing artifacts that hint at sophisticated technologies, tragically lost to the passage of time. We've encountered resonant stones humming with completely unexplained vibrational frequencies, ancient cement compounds binding precious secrets within their molecular matrix, and mysterious coins that predate known economic systems by several millennia. But beyond all the documented facts and ongoing controversies lies the true essence of our shared journey tonight. A gentle reminder that history isn't a closed book gathering dust on forgotten shelves, but rather an ever-unfolding scroll that continuously invites us to question comfortable assumptions, dream of possibilities, and seek profound truths hidden within the shadows of our collective past. In this conclusion, let us pause peacefully to absorb the profound implications we've uncovered together. Gunung Padang stands as an ancient sentinel against the dangerous arrogance of our modern assumptions, fundamentally challenging us to reconsider humanity's entire developmental timeline. If its deepest construction layers truly date back an astounding 28,000 years, as Natawijaja's sophisticated geophysical scanning suggests, it completely shatters the comfortable notion of linear civilizational progress, proposing instead cyclical patterns of brilliant achievement and tragic oblivion that repeat throughout human history. We've discovered how this mysterious site powerfully echoes global flood mythology, ranging from Noah's Ark to the Epic of Gilgamesh, potentially memorializing genuine catastrophic events like the Younger Dryas period that dramatically reshaped our entire world approximately 12,000 years ago. The documented acoustic anomalies, stones naturally vibrating at precisely 440 Hz while aligning with ancient harmonic principles, evoke fascinating possibilities of completely lost sciences, including sonic levitation techniques for massive construction projects or sophisticated energy harnessing systems that could inspire today's renewable innovation breakthroughs. The exciting 2025 updates have only heightened the mounting intrigue surrounding this site. In January, the Indonesian government officially pledged comprehensive archaeological missions to systematically unearth its buried mysteries, followed by Culture Minister Fadli Zon's February public call for renewed scientific studies amid intensifying heated academic debates. By July, concrete plans were announced to restore the entire site through careful stages, beginning with completely non-invasive survey techniques before any physical excavation work commences, as reported by Antara News. A March YouTube update from a PhD scientist delved deeply into the ongoing controversy, suggesting that mainstream archaeology's resistance might stem from genuine paradigm-shifting fears that threaten established institutional power structures. Even viral images falsely portraying the site as a pristine pyramid emerging dramatically from jungle vegetation, thoroughly debunked in March, clearly underscore the public's absolutely insatiable curiosity about humanity's hidden past. These remarkable developments unfolding throughout 2025 position Gunung Padang as a living, breathing mystery, one that could soon yield revolutionary new chambers, unprecedented artifacts, or even DNA traces capable of completely rewriting our understanding of human ancestry. Yet, as genuinely captivating as these revelations prove to be, they ultimately leave us with far more questions than definitive answers, gently lulling our minds into contemplative repose, perfect for peaceful sleep. What specific cataclysm truly buried these brilliant ancient builders beneath layers of time? Devastating comet impacts, rapidly rising ocean waters, or perhaps something far more orchestrated and deliberate? If the site's documented energies genuinely align with Earth's magnetic field systems, could they hold crucial keys to revolutionary healing technologies or free power solutions for our increasingly energy-hungry world? And why does persistent pushback continue, from the controversial 2024 paper retraction to completely halted excavations in 2014? Is this merely academic caution protecting scientific standards, or does it represent a much deeper agenda designed to safeguard dangerous secrets that might fundamentally disrupt our comfortable societal foundations? In linking to Yonaguni's mysterious underwater terraces, potentially dating 20,000 years old, or Göbekli Tepe's remarkable 11,000-year-old circular enclosures, Gunung Padang hints at a sophisticated prehistoric knowledge network where advanced information was systematically diffused across now-drowned continental lands, perhaps originating from Mu's fabled oceanic realm. As restoration efforts progress steadily this year, following the government's July pledge, we stand balanced on the precipice of discovery. Will final evidence confirm a natural geological formation enhanced by later megalithic additions? Or might it unveil definitive proof of a technologically advanced Ice Age empire that challenges everything we thought we knew about human development? These open enigmas invite you to drift peacefully into sleep, filled with visions of terraced pyramids beneath starlit skies, where humanity's ancient past whispers essential guidance for navigating our uncertain future. Now, my fellow seekers of history's hidden shadows, as this comprehensive 2-hour odyssey draws gently to a close, I extend a heartfelt call to action, one born from the shared passion that unites us during these late-night reflective journeys into mystery. If tonight's Tales of Gunung Padang have stirred your curiosity, ignited your imagination, or simply provided a soothing escape into history's most captivating mysteries, consider joining our rapidly growing community here. Subscribing ensures you never miss an episode where we delve deeply into more forgotten wonders. From Atlantis's legendary sunken spires to Tartaria's mud-flooded architectural grandeur and beyond. If these carefully researched narratives resonate with your soul, turning on notifications will bring each new adventure straight to your device, like a midnight messenger delivering secrets from humanity's past. Sharing this video with friends who share your fascination for the unexplained could spark enlightening discussions that uncover even more suppressed truths, perhaps in the comments below, where I'd genuinely love to hear your thoughts and theories. What do you believe lies buried beneath Gunung Padang's ancient terraces? Have you encountered similar archaeological anomalies during your own explorations of mysterious sites? For those eager to dive deeper into these mysteries, our channel offers comprehensive playlists covering ancient civilizations and conspiracy theories, perfect for extended listening sessions during long contemplative nights. If you're inclined to support our research efforts, engaging through likes or comments helps sustain these investigative journeys, allowing us to continue bringing you meticulously researched content that challenges conventional narratives. Remember, in a world rushing blindly forward, pausing to gaze backward with an open mind might just reveal the essential path ahead that leads to truth and understanding. I thank you sincerely for accompanying me through this labyrinth of time and mystery. May your dreams tonight be filled with the ancient hum of resonant stones and the promise of revolutionary discoveries yet to come. Sleep well, dream deeply, and until our next mystery unfolds in the shadows of history, good night.